the order? Who gave the order to murder peaceful protesters at Lekki toll gate? EndSARS protest. After 3 years, Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwolu, has decided to respond. In fact, he has confessed. He has decided to name the person who gave that order. Did people die at Lekki toll gates? Did the military fire at peaceful protesters? What really happened? Now, he has decided to open up like a tap. Why? Because he knows what will happen in Lagos. Lagos is going to be hijacked by Labour Party. They saw what happened during the presidential election. Jide knows that he has plans. He has ideas. But he is not going to do the right thing because he doesn't want what happened to the past governor that could not complete his second term. He knows what happened to him. He was kicked out because he wanted to rearrange Lagos State waste management. And of course, criminals that were benefiting from it, like Kwamwon, Wasiu Ayinde, and the rest of those criminals who have attached themselves like leeches, parasites, to Lagos State. They kicked him out. They overshadowed him. They pressed on him. And they came up with stories and he was kicked out. Now, Jide Sanwolu does not want to experience that. But now, he's between the devil and the deep blue sea. Is it that he compromises and he gets kicked out by his party? Or it comes out clearly to Nigerians, sorry, I was tied down. There was nothing I could do. In fact, this is what happened during that EndSARS. Let us hear him speak.
When we talk about young people, when we look at the legacy of the first 4 years of the Governor Sanwolu administration, you talk about infrastructure, you're big on that. You talk about what you've done in maternal mortality. But one thing that the young people talk about is your response to the EndSARS protest. Lagos State was the epicenter. I'm sure you didn't imagine that you'd come for an interview and not speak about that. That's okay. Because that's one of the grievances of the young people and why they say they're not going to vote for you on Saturday. So, in terms of the role that you played, are there lessons from how you handled or responded to the young people's agitations for EndSARS in 2020? Hold on a second, sir, please. And also, in responding to that, what would you have done better? Because the young people are listening. It's big on their hearts. And so they want you to speak to them as their chief executive officer, how you would have handled their agitations perhaps better because they felt that they were, you put them in a very precarious situation and that there's some errors that you denied that actually happened. And the second part of that question is on security. A few minutes ago, you talked about the fact that with the security, you didn't attend debates for that. However, many Lagosians can't say that. They are on the streets of Lagos and they are afraid. And unlike you, sir, they don't have the security protection that your office offers. So do you think security has fared better in the 4 years of you being governor? And how better would you handle security in Lagos State?
I would have wanted a longer time to explain because you've touched on very critical things. My role played, lessons learned, absolutely. There's no leader that will, worth his while, that will not do, a forensic analysis of what happened. But if you want to, for once, just drop it, right, and do a role play, put yourself in my situation and, just watch and not listen to what I think I want to hear, but hear what truly actually happened, and not just social media, In fact, the EndSARS had started almost 3 weeks before that incident of October 20. Almost 3 weeks. So it had built up, in itself in various locations. People have come to some certain locations as a place where they can always aggregate on a daily basis. I was the first governor that went there to meet with them nationwide. It didn't start in Lagos, but when it got to, I was the first, right? Waters and all sorts. That's the price of leadership. I was one that took the 4-4 or the 5-for-5 to Mr. President with pictures, with everything. I was the first that set up, right, a fund for people that were either had been molested by police to come forward and get restitution. Right, I was the first. I was the first that set up, a tribunal and a panel. In all of these things, I was the first. Move forward. The incident on that night happened. I was in my house with some cabinet members when it happened, so we didn't have an idea at all. In terms of the question they asked, who ordered the shooting and also, Who ordered for a CPS not to listen to me when I went to Magodo the other day? So you can see who ordered that. We're at election last Saturday. There were more military out there, than police. Who ordered? It's not in my remit. It's not in my space. But if we just drop it for 1 second and just do a role play, right, and ask what were my own actions before, during, and after. I went out that night. I went to all the hospitals, that we could have patients. I went out at 12 midnight, right, and I saw things for myself. And I reported what I saw. 8 o'clock the following morning. At 10, 11 o'clock, things could have changed. But I reported what I saw, right? And I would not deny what I didn't see to what people want me to say. And I want to speak to the youth and say that, indeed, I am a father. I'm a leader. I'm a man that truly understands the pain that parents bear, the challenge that you have as a young person. I have been a starter myself. At 25, I owned a small company that crashed at 26. I've lost money before. I understand what it is for a young person to be out there sweating yourself out and not being able to meet up what it is. So I will be the least person that will disenfranchise or that will mess them up. So the lessons and the learning of EndSARS is not lost on me. Will we do a few things differently? Yes, we will, right? But I just need to say that we need to leave this idea around there was a big bust that happened. No. And one other thing, right? All of the people, and I'm saying this for the first time on national TV, all of the people that claim that they were either injured or they were affected in one form or the other, I, Babajide Sanwolu, have reached out to them and I've supported, I've given them jobs, I've given them empowerment, I've given them things for them to start with. And that's why you don't see anybody during this campaign trail coming out to say that I was an EndSARS event, I lost something, and because I have taken it up, and I feel that is not a thing for the papers. That is something for me as a father, as a leader, to do for them and clear this hair around it. Don't forget, it was 2022 that we had COVID. I lost citizens. After that event of 2020, it was October, in December, we lost the highest number of fatality on COVID based on all of the things that happened. We lost 7, 8 professors in 1 week. And so let's be big and see the bigger picture, right? And people have asked me, what are the things, that always bleeds your heart when you wake up? Is the fact that my young kids, my unicorns, my self-start young people do not do a role play for 1 second. Don't put things in your head that this is the only way and that's what has happened. No, just for 1 second, drop it and do a reflective mode and play it back. It wasn't a flash incident. It was an incident that has piled up for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks. And for whatever reason, I didn't have control. I don't control the police. I don't control the media. We've still on the conversation. Just to do state police, we've been on it for 3-4 years. We've been on it.
Now, we all should understand, because a lot of people are not politically educated. We see all of our politicians as the same. It is true that some of them are the same, or some of them have chosen to follow the same route. But let us bear something in mind. We operate a federal system. The president of Nigeria, based on the system that is being run in Nigeria, can do and undo. That's what it is. You need to understand how this regime operated. And who knows what is going to happen next. The president can do and undo, particularly those that come from the background of the military. And Sanwolu has made it clear, it is not in my jurisdiction. It is not my decision. The president of Nigeria, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, and the military decided upon this. Now, if Sanwolu called, if Tinubu called and said, my Lagos is about to be destroyed, that we do not know. We do not know what transpired, but we know that the governor of Lagos State cannot, according to the constitution, unless he has friends who are able to touch or press buttons, unless he does it that way, he does not have the legal right to ask for military intervention like that. He has to go through different, routes. I am not saying they can't connect and say, look, I have a situation, since they are the chief security officer of their states, they can request for additional military support or to help the police or whatever if there are some very chaotic or very stressful or terrible or very dangerous situation. Yes, they can. But we need to understand that there are actions taken by certain elements that surround Buhari and Buhari himself. And we saw that played out during the elections. Scarcity of Naira. Well, he wants to make sure that people see him as a man of integrity. So he accepted that. After all, he has done his own time. He has dropped the buckload on whoever. If Tinubu gets in, your business. You cannot do anything to me. If Peter Obi gets in, well, I don't want an Igbo man. But if that is what it is, I will just retire to Daura. If Atiku gets it, well, I don't know the friendship that they have between them. But what I know is that Nigeria is a very complex society and also easy to understand. Complex and easy to understand. When I say complex, I mean when you look and you hear, you might not really understand. But if you take your time to just observe a little bit more, you will realize that it is simple. The president can do and undo. Certain individuals can incite. I'm talking about politicians themselves. They have friends. That's why we have this cabal. The cabal can speak to Buhari and say, Buhari, this is the next thing that should be done. And Buhari is all right, carry on. And that's it. And that would be like a direct order or permission from Buhari. What happened during the EndSARS? People lost their lives. And now, Sanwolu, some people call him Sanwoku, is out there. And now, I watched something during that time. Tinubu came out. Although he doesn't occupy any political office, he can only speak as an ordinary citizen. And he has to be careful that he doesn't speak against his party or risk his opportunity of becoming president that he has been declared of. He has to be careful not to criticize Buhari, because that is the only thing that they will show Buhari. He was very smart. He came out saying, I'm the Jagaban, I'm here. Why will I run? This and that and that. He was very careful not to step on the toes. But you see what he did now. He knows that Emefiele is the one that came up with the Naira note policy. He knows that Emefiele wanted to become president. He knows that it is not Buhari himself that just came up with this. He knows that whatever Buhari listens to from whoever, and he feels that he respects that person, that's what it is. As long as it helps him show his image as a man of integrity, he will accept. He will accept. And that is what he did. Tinubu spoke about this. Drop your comment. Are you voting for Sanwolu, APC, or are you voting for Labour Party? Or is it PDP? What party are you voting for in Lagos State? Drop your comment in the section below. Like, share this video. It's very helpful. It helps us a lot. Like, share. Subscribe to this channel if you're new here.